GTV. And now it's time for this afternoon's edition of Children's GBC with George Buxton this time. Oh, if you remember from this morning when George Brind broadcasted The Adventures of Parsley, well now, it's George Buxton's turn to do the same this time. And here it is.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Children's GBC on a Tuesday afternoon. A fine day, in fact. Okay, now, for those of you who are wondering, what's the first programme for today? Now, are we including more episodes of the Herbs? Well, sadly no, because we've already had all the episodes of the Herbs, really, and so that you know that the remaining Herbs episode is now finished. But worry not, though, because as George Brind has already premiered 2 episodes of The Adventures of Parsley, that's the first 2, but of course, luckily, we have the 3rd episode of The Adventures of Parsley, and today, I think Parsley is having a bit of a toothache. Has he been eating sweets? I mean, I know that Herbs don't normally eat sweets, but you'll see why for yourself to find out why. Enjoy.
Today, said Parsley. Friday. It's a why don't I keep my mouth shut day.
And that was episode 3 of The Adventures of Parsley. Now, what George Brind has already just told me, that Parsley, however, has now discovered that he actually bit his own tongue. Oh, yeah, I bet that hurt. Yeah, I think he did do that all along. But anyways, if you think that episode 3 is over, but wait until you see the next best episode. Now, obviously, it's going to be called Who's Who. I mean, I know that sometimes Sage is an owl that sometimes gives out the hoots. Only not usually, but it's just what owls do. But if you want to know who's who, well, find out as you watch this episode today.
One day, Parsley was out for a walk in the herb garden when he came across Dill, fast asleep. By his side, there was a...
And that was The Adventures of Parsley episode 4. And in fact, that's pretty much both episodes done now. But don't worry though, I'm sure that we'll have another episode of The Adventures of Parsley, which is only happening this coming Friday morning. So don't miss it. So the next programme now here's Sodor Railway Tales. That's a story that's been created by none other than my good friend George Brind. Well, here is Series 1, episode, Series 1, episode 29. At this time, it's going to be about Mrs. Kindly's Christmas. Well, and I think it may be a Christmas episode. But that's because we're in the December now. Yeah, isn't it great that we're in December? Of course it is. But anyways, enjoy the story from Sodor Railway Tales.
Mrs. Kindly's Christmas. It was nearly Christmas.
Sodor Railway Tales. Well, I'm so glad that Mrs. Kindly has enjoyed her Christmas so much. Yeah, because I guess that you could say that, so it's just to make sure that she doesn't get Thomas to go on a landslide, though. Yeah, because otherwise that would have been a right disaster, though, even on the island of Sodor. So anyways, now, the next programme now, and here's a very good favourite of Penelope's. You guessed it, it's Playdays. And in today's episode, I think this time they'll be at the playground store, in which they engage some Christmas activities. But what sort of Christmas activities that they're doing? Well, there's only one way to find out as you watch this episode. Oh, and make sure you keep an eye out for the animated story of Peggy's Christmas Eve adventure.
It's a play bus! But where does it go? Where does it stop? Watch for the sign of the lollipop. Stop! It's the playground stop.
Girls and boys, come out to play. Let's make a Christmas cake today.
Happy Christmas,
Playdays. Well, I'm so glad that the children at the playground stop have enjoyed doing some Christmas activities, and even Dave Benson Phillips is using Magaton's sign language, and it's all about Christmas. Now, if I show you what I mean, now obviously this is a sign, but if you do it like this, that is the sign language that what's known as Christmas. So if I show you again, and as Justin Fletcher would say, Christmas. You sign Christmas. Yeah, very good. Now, anyways, let's just move on from Playdays and onto the calmer side of Greendale. Now, I know that Postman Pat's Magic Christmas will be happening in the next couple of weeks, because we do have a few Postman Pat Christmas episodes, but sadly, there is no Christmas episodes on Series 1 or 2, so the only two episodes that we'll have sometime soon. And the first one is because it's all about snow and ice. So here's today's episode of Postman Pat as he tries to deliver some letters on ice. Well, I'm sure you'll find out why in this episode.
Postman Pat, Postman Pat, Postman Pat and his black and white cat. Early in the morning, just as day is dawning, he picks up all the post bags in his van. Postman Pat, Postman Pat, Postman Pat and his black and white cat. All the birds are singing and the day is just beginning. Pat feels he's a really happy man. Everybody knows his bright red van. All his friends will smile as he waves to greet them. Maybe you can never be sure. There'll be knock, ring.
Snow can't last forever.
Postman Pat, Postman Pat, Postman Pat and his black and white cat. Bum, 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 dee-dum, dum, dee-dum, bum, 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 bum.
And that was Postman Pat. Well, I'm so glad that he managed to deliver some letters in the end. Well, despite the fact that he had to get his skates on though, so it's just to make sure he gets to the other side. Luckily, he did deliver one letter to George Lancaster. Now, obviously, fun fact, George Lancaster, right, because it's got the same first name as well as me and George Brind is. Yeah, well, George Brind, I think we both got the same names, haven't we?
Lots of people have the name George.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, lots of people there. Yep, including George Lancaster. Yeah, what a lot of names that have George on it. yeah. Anyways, that's Postman Pat. So now moving on to, and as George Brind said, moving on to the dangerous side of Pontypandy. And the reason why I said dangerous side? Because sometimes it's about one naughty Norman Price, or it could be the fact about spreading fires in Pontypandy. But anyways, now in this episode today, now Norman was only trying to help the Pontypandy crew to get a Christmas tree, although despite the fact there was a small tree, but I'm sure you'll just find out what's going to happen to him next. So here's today's episode of Fireman Sam, and today it's the Big Freeze. And it's a reboot series, by the way, from 2003.
When he hears that fire alarm, Sam is always cool and calm. If you're stuck, give him a shout. He'll be there to help you out. So move aside, make way for Fireman Sam, 'cause he's gonna save the day. Fireman Sam, 'cause
one.
So move aside, make way for Fireman
One.
Sam, 'cause he's gonna save the day.
One. One. One.
And that was Fireman Sam. Well, mind you, Norman had to be rescued by Fireman Sam by just getting him out of that under the cave, because the snow just came in. Yeah, but of course Norman didn't even get a tree in the end though, because luckily, well, Tom Thomas. For those of you who don't know who Tom Thomas is, he's a mountain rescue pilot. Well, yeah, I'm sure that you'll probably see him again in another episode maybe. But right now, it's time for the next program now. Now, it's time for the Chuckle Hounds. Now, today, they're having a spot of birthday bother. And as George Brind would say, but if he's acting like Scooby-Doo, no offence to you, George Brind.
None taken?
Yeah, none taken. Now, anyways, if I do it like this. Blair. I do not say Blair. Anyways, here's the Chuckle Hounds.
Alright, George, that's enough. I think our audience get the idea.
Oh, okay. I'm terribly sorry, everybody. I couldn't resist doing that, you see. Yeah, because it's obviously a bit like Scooby-Doo in general. Yeah. Anyway, so, as I was going to say, now, that was the Chuckle Hounds. Yeah, because I know that sometimes birthday can be a bit of a bother sometimes. Because sometimes planning a birthday does not go very well sometimes. But it's because it's all about preparing and stuff. So anyways, that's the Chuckle Hounds. So the next programme now, and this will be the last programme for today on Children's GBC, here's Bitzer. At this time, it's going to be about spirals. The zigzag lining around. Or is it like the other way round? Yeah, I think it's definitely spirals. So that's what today's episode is. Well, oh, and I know that Hans might get a bit dizzy because of a dizzy spell. Anyways, you'll see this episode to find out for yourself.
Bits of this, bits of that. Put them all together and what have you got? Bits and pieces, bits and bobs. Put them all together, what a lovely job. With strings and things and carbon glue. You can do whatever you want. Bits of this, bits of that. Bits and bits and bits and bits and pieces.
dear, it seems that Caitlin and Simon have got spiralitis. Well, let's hope they'll get better soon, and I'm sure that there'll be another episode of Big Sur, which is only happening this coming Friday on Children's GBC.
And that was Bitzer. Well, you could say that Hans has got a case of spiralitis. Yeah, a bit weird, isn't it? Spiralitis. So anyways, that's pretty much all the progress that I can broadcast to you viewers today. And I hope that you enjoy it. Now, as I said, don't worry about the Adventures of Parsley. There'll be another episode of it this coming Friday. Just to give you a heads up, now, I'm sure that for the next 2 weeks or so, we will be having some Christmas-themed programs with me and George Brind. Well, that's if me and George Brind will ever get to meet up again, that is. But anyways, you'll soon find out probably next week. But don't worry, I will be back again on Friday morning, so don't miss it. Bye-bye. See you next time.
You're watching GTV. And seeing as that no haircut is no longer annoying me anymore, well, now it's time for today's episode of Neighbours. And farewell, Noah Bear. You have been great for as long as I can remember. So anyways, here's Neighbours.